Welcome back to No Substitutes, the show where I have some of my favorite people on and we talk about what ingredients make them who they are. And today I have a very special guest. I'm sure you guys have seen some videos that I've made with him. But besides, those videos, he's actually one of the most intellectual and kindest people I've met through adult. And now he's doing things like creating his own fashion brand and he travels a lot. Please welcome Ryan McLane. Hey. Hi.
Hey.
How are you?
Great. How are you?
I'm great. I was just noticing all the tattoos.
Yeah.
Last time I saw you, I guess it has been longer than I thought, but
It wouldn't have mattered because they all took place in 1 week.
okay. I was like, whoa.
Yeah.
Damn, you just went. Is it just
none.
that arm or
It's my back
back?
and the arm. Yeah.
It took place in 1 week.
Yeah. Well, because I'm in front of a camera, right? So like
I
didn't
know. You don't
want
want to heal.
you don't want people to see a half. I knew what I wanted. I didn't want
Right.
people to see like, oh, so I wanted it to just be done.
That's fair. I feel like that's the smartest way to do it.
Yeah.
Like this took me just this took like 6, maybe longer months. Because, I was also like 21 at the time or 20.
Okay.
But yeah, like the outline, then some shading.
Right.
And then just get a little like lightheaded and being like, I gotta come back. So that's awesome though.
Yeah, we think we did 26 hours over 4 straight days. Just
Okay.
and it was in Zurich.
I was just going to say, I'm like, knowing you probably didn't even get it in the US.
I didn't know.
Did you specifically go to that artist? Like, did you? Oh, okay.
Yeah. Well, I had one artist that I picked out that was based in Sweden.
Okay.
He was French. And I had a lot of very specific like design. Like I knew exactly what I wanted. But some of the high-end people, I didn't realize this, but you get the artwork like day of or day before. Like you don't get to discuss it. Some of these high-end artists, like you get, if you say like, I want a tiger.
Right.
Then they show you the tiger when you walk into their studio.
Oh.
Right. So I had said to the French artist, I said, listen, I have none. I have no tattoos.
Yeah.
I'm in front of a camera for a living. I'm doing a lot.
Yeah.
I need it like at least a day or two before. And he was like, okay, fair. So he gave it to me. I got it when I was in line at LAX and it was completely wrong. Like when I say in line, like, I mean, I was bag here, like waiting on my, to drop my bag off. And so I made this decision. I was like, what do I do? Like, do I get on the plane and think we can work it out?
Right.
And so I had given myself a day buffer. So I was like, I'm going to get out of line. I'm going to email him and see how he responds. And
that's smart. Yeah.
He did not take it well.
Oh. Okay.
So then it took me like another 6 months before I found somebody that I thought.
Okay.
And I was very lucky with the person I found. He was really willing to work with me and not just be his, so which is not easy to find.
No.
Actually.
Yeah. I mean, I loved my artist, but I got, in like Arcata, California. And I don't know, he was very good at collaborating. He was very down with that. Yeah. He mastered in like Japanese art. So that's why I wanted, but thankfully, yeah. And actually, sometimes it's hard for me to like be honest and like confront people and say what I want. So thankfully, he actually gave me the space because I definitely would be that person that's like, okay, I guess.
You just agree to it and then it's.
I guess that's going to be on my body.
I can
so
see
thankfully, yeah, good on you for doing the research. I just got lucky, thankfully. And yeah, he was down to collaborate.
That's good. Yeah,
would ask me.
Okay.
But I was also like young too. So like it was really cool. A girl. So I don't know. Thankfully he wasn't like, invalidating my opinions.
Yeah.
Like he was down.
I'm kind of curious because I figured obviously you did your research and that's why you chose artists because you enjoy their style. Was it the elements that you guys were conflicting on or
the first guy or the second guy?
Oh, because you just switched
I switched.
For the first guy.
The first guy. So I do design work, but I'm not like a tattoo artist, right? Yeah. So like if I tell you what I want, I can get you very close. It's not the concept I'm going to hand you is not vague.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say like, oh, I want some butterflies. I will show you the exact butterflies, the way I want their wings, the way, the color, all of it. Yeah. And I was expecting when I got the first artwork, I was expecting to like circle, like a lot of times in process like this, right? Like the creative process, you're like, okay, change this, tweak that, do this. And I got it and I was just like, circle the whole, like this, what the fuck is, what is this? Yeah. You do, like she said, like you have different style, right? Like every artist has their unique, and you want to make sure like whatever it is that you want, that they specialize in that, obviously.
Yeah, that's crazy because hearing that, I feel like that would be like a tattoo artist's dream. But I guess, depending on what kind of artist you are. But I was working with someone who's a designer and like has done the artist work and can just pretty much be like so clear about what they want. I'd be like, oh my God, thank God. Like, all right, here, I'll send you what I have. But I guess some people their egos might be a little too.
Yeah, my guy actually said, because I was thanking him because it's hard to find somebody like that actually at that level. And he said that the reason he is that way is because when he was new into getting tattoos, not doing it himself, but getting them, that he was like, he was having the same problem. So he said, when I become an artist, when somebody comes in and they want a Smurf, I'm going to do a Smurf. Yeah. So.
Yeah. Sometimes, you got to put your ego aside, especially if someone's very clear about what they want.
Yeah.
So. Yeah. Well, it looks epic. It's so you.
I was terrified, by the way.
Yeah?
Yeah. I was
the back's intense.
I was worried about losing work.
Oh, yeah. Oh, really?
Or like my fans, because I don't have any.
Right.
That my fans, and I've been around for a long time, that my fans would be like, I don't like you now. Like, why did you do that?
I actually saw, because Adria Fox did that recently. She got like her whole back, and there were like a few male talents, but she's also, I don't know. She's like, I just do OnlyFans now, guys. Like, I don't know.
Right.
She's like, I'm going to do what I want. I moved. I'm doing my own thing. Like, I'm in my own little world. Like, I think if you are my ride or die, this should not affect that. Also, like, guys, are you really paying attention to that?
That's hilarious.
I mean, we are though. Like, I like yours.
Thank you.
Like, you can't. Maybe you don't know what. If I said, "Oh, what does Lumi have?" It's like, I don't know, but I like it.
Yeah,
like that type of thing. So,
and then there are. I mean, I guess there are like people who get a lot of work who are just a clear canvas, and there's people like Joey and Angel who are just tatted, and that's what people want. That's what they want to see. So, it is kind of weird when you're someone who's in this between, or like, never got one till like recently, but it's so like clean and beautiful and detailed, like, and they're all very you. I don't know. It definitely represents like who you are as a person.
It definitely feels, like the first time I was working out in the gym and you got the whole wall of mirrors in front of you and you're like this, cause I don't have any on here. And and it like, I was like, oh yeah, that's you. Like it felt like that's me.
That's dope.
Which is good because it's there.
Yeah.
So it's good. Yeah.
It's so interesting too, because I'm glad you mentioned you got it all in a week, because when I was doing research for you, all of a sudden there was suddenly all these tattoos. I was like, this is not the same guy. Where did I mess up?
Just some different dudes walking into this interview.
Yeah. It was recent. I mean, I did it in February.
Wow.
Actually, if you want to know the truth, I was supposed to do it in December. And I was on my flight. I was in Miami shooting.
Okay.
And I was leaving from Miami to Zurich. And I was on, have you ever flown Norse Airways?
I don't think so.
You guys ever even heard of Norse?
No.
Norse is like Spirit International.
Oh shit.
No offense to Spirit.
I know. I mean,
but that's what it's like. Like it's an international flight that you're like paying for a Coke.
Oh.
Like it is like they check your bag like in the container, like does it fit?
Yeah.
For like an international flight, like they don't normally, it's pretty loose. But I was on my flight and I got violently ill.
Oh no!
Like I got food poisoning.
It doesn't.
I'm talking. I was in. I grabbed the bag Luckily, there was nobody on this flight, so I had the whole row to myself, right?
Yeah.
So I'm laying down, I'm like, I don't feel very good. And then I kind of wake up and I grab the bag, like the little bag, and I was like, And I looked back at the bathroom was like open. So I started to walk and then I started to run. And then, I mean, it's just like, not to be too graphic, but it was not a pretty.
Yeah.
And you're also moving and you're hitting. And the thing about
you're like, I can't even.
I don't know if
right.
anybody's ever gotten sick in a airplane bathroom, but they violently flush.
Yes, that sound.
So it's like, and you're like more, and you're like, and it's everywhere. And then you come out of the bathroom and you're trying to find a flight attendant because you're like, this is done for the flight. Like,
yeah,
this is,
you're like, this is.
But they also
off.
don't know, and they don't actually have anything to help you with because it's Norse. So like, there's no comfort. It's not like, okay, well, we'll get you. They don't have any nice amenities for you.
Oh, no.
So I then call my tattoo artist. I'm like, I land in London, okay, because I had a layover in London.
Yeah. Okay.
And this is turning into a whole story.
No.
And so I land in London, and I go through. When you're in London, like as an American, you don't actually have to go through customs. You can just do it now with like digital, like screen your face, screen your passport.
I'm gonna start flying through London.
But I've had a lot of plastic surgery.
Okay.
My face does not look like my passport. So a lot of times when I go to use my passport and then scan my face, it's like, that's not you.
Whoa.
It says it's not me. So then I had to go to a person, and the person was like, I think because it was London, like, because it was England, like I just thought like, this isn't a real country. It's not like, I'm not like flying into Kenya.
Yeah, you know,
right?
I'm
like, this is not a big deal. I'm American.
Yeah,
right. So like I wasn't like prepared. I was also sick.
Oh, God.
So he says, I was just supposed to be there for a layover for 2 hours. I wasn't supposed to leave the airport, but I knew I was done. I wasn't getting back on a plane. So I was like, hey, he's like, how long are you here? And I didn't want to say I was sick because then I thought like maybe they won't let me in if I'm sick.
Right.
So I was like, 2 or 3 days. He goes, which is it, 2 or 3? I'm like,
I hate that.
So then I had to call my tattoo artist, and I was like, I'm sick. I have to cancel. And he thought I was, because he knew I had none, he thought I was like backing out.
Yeah.
You know, that I got scared, and which is, I would have thought too.
Right.
But I like sent him money. I'm like, no, like don't, because I didn't want to lose him. Because when you finally find somebody, you're like, please. Yeah. So then, 2 months later, because artists like that are booked up like a lot in advance. So if you have to, I had a whole week. So if you cancel a week, trying to get him with like another 4-day, 5-day stretch is not easy.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Did you tell him that story?
I did.
Yeah.
I was like,
by the way.
I was like, I'm so sick. He's like, and then once I was finally there, he realized, obviously I was not.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
That's, oof. Oh, there's no wood. I don't have any travel stories like that, thankfully, yet, but.
It worked
especially
out.
On the plane. The plane is like, that's even just like a lot of times my whole thing is just, even if I'm like flying pretty comfortably, I just like can't sleep on planes.
Oh, really?
I have a really hard time sleeping on planes. But sometimes I'm like, this will work out because I'll just like keep myself awake depending on what time I land, or just go right to sleep depending on what time I land.
Do you get scared flying, or like you just can't sleep?
No, I love flying. It's like, I think I'm just too wired.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's either I'm like too excited or just wired. I don't know. But I can like feel my body just like, yo, why can't we sleep? This is like.
Do you get jet lagged like bad?
Not too bad. I feel like this time coming home, I was like really drained, exhausted, and was thrown off for like a week. But I don't know. I'm like, I've done like Australia.
Okay.
But it's like that one's so far that I don't know. Like when I got there, I was like, fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like I have a hard time when it's like Europe because it's like 6 to 10 hours.
Far,
yeah.
Right? Yeah. Yeah.
So you're like kind of like, it depends on what time you leave. You're like, and then the time change. But
yeah.
And then like Central America is really easy. It's like right there.
Yeah.
It's like New York has a more time change than like Mexico.
Right.
So. Wow. Okay. I'm like, I haven't even got to any of these yet. How much has traveling influenced your fashion designs?
So for me, it goes hand in hand.
Yeah.
I've had to cut back a little bit because I decided I wanted to go down this path of tying them in together, right? So I was designing clothing specifically for wherever it is I was going.
Oh.
Like to the point where I would do a week of research just on like what colors look good in this spot.
Whoa.
Right. So like,
okay.
which is, it ends up, it looks great, but that's not sustainable. Right.
Yeah.
And it's also not like, when you're doing clothing, you're like, well, how can I sell this? And like, if you're like, I designed something for, I designed 2 different pieces. I went to the Giraffe Manor in Kenya, the place where you're feeding the giraffes through the window.
Oh,
like
yeah.
this super Instagram-y place.
Right.
So like I designed like 2 different pieces for that place.
Oh, okay.
And it was perfect. But like, how are you going to sell that? Who's going to the Giraffe Manor? Like, it's not like, so like you become addicted because it looks so good. You become addicted to designing for the location.
Oh, okay.
And then you have to like pull back because you're like, you're not like, you're not like wealthy. So like, you can't like live like that. This is not, you have to kind of like, it influences it too much.
Right.
So where I have to figure out like, what could you make that you could actually just sell to people? That's basic.
Oh,
most people are not eccentric in their clothing. They want to blend in.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, who are some of your influences, you would say, in design? If you have any, besides the world.
I mean, I don't. I just think people like you just, and I think, you have to know like what looks good on people. And then one thing that the United States does a really bad job of that like Europe, it's like, like clothing here kind of doesn't matter. Or if it does matter, it's more on like label than actual fit. So people like in the United States, like, oh, those are Nikes, right? As we're like somebody in Europe, be like, that shoe doesn't fit you or doesn't go with that. You know what I'm saying? Like that doesn't go with those pants or whatever.
I remember the first time I went to Europe, it was Amsterdam, and my friend, she was going to school there at the time. She's from here.
Okay.
And she was like, by the way, you're going to think every guy here is gay because they're so put together and look nicer than us, 2 American girls who are wearing hoodies and, walking around Europe. Right. Then I was like, oh my God, I got to go get myself a Pico. I need to go get like good shoes. And then she moved to Sweden. Okay. And now when I go see her, we go to Copenhagen, which is even more nice and more beautiful people and really nice clothing. And I just noticed in Europe, it's all about like everything just looks so put together and aesthetically, I don't know. It does. It matches like their environment, but also like everyone dresses like they know their tones. They know what clothes actually fit their bodies.
And I don't think, I could be wrong, but like I don't think there's such a emphasis in other parts of the world of like variety in your wardrobe. No. Like if you find like the 3 pieces that like work, you're like, yeah, those are my 3 pieces. As we're here, it's like there's kind of like an emphasis of like something new every.
It's all about like consumption here.
Yeah,
we're all about
right.
Yeah,
right.
Because I even see now we have apps where people are like renting each other's clothes.
Yeah.
Which I'm like, that's cool, because I feel like we overdo it with like consumpsumption, whether it's fashion or just having things in America. And then you go to places like Japan where everyone there has such like a minimalist lifestyle. And then their fashion sense is like amazing. It's either like very well put together or it's like super dope Japanese streetwear. Or girls looking like Sailor Moon.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I kind of understand why you would choose like the environment almost as like a way to do your stuff.
It's fun because it gives you, I mean, you're creating like everything.
Yeah.
Like, because you're looking at, it's not like, oh, well, what looks good in, like, you can't say like, well, what looks good in London? Like, that doesn't make any sense. It's like, what looks good in this, I'm going to go film in this street.
Right.
What looks good in this street or next to this building or, like what looks good at the Coliseum? You're going to be there,
Wow.
So.
I feel like I'm going to start traveling a lot differently now.
What I'm saying, this is not advice. This
I know.
Is like, don't do it.
I know because I always just, I try to not, I'm always like one carry on.
Yeah.
I
travel by myself always. And I think people assume because of like I think people think that that's the way I travel and they don't realize that I have like all this equipment and all this clothing and all this stuff. So it's like, I at some point I'll be done with that. And then I will just be able to be like, I look forward to like the days of like I remember reading or listening to an interview with like Michael Jordan. He was like, I can't wait to have a gut. Right? Like, I can't wait to like be out of shape.
Yeah.
And, like, I kind of like can't wait to like not have to film my travels.
Right.
Like to just be like, I'm just going there.
Yeah.
And I don't have to like, it doesn't matter what I wear. Not that it ever does, but like for what I'm doing,
I know.
Does.
Yeah. And it's, you're making content that you like making. And that's awesome.
Yeah.
So it's like, how much can you, but that does sound like a lot. I don't know.
I mean, it's cool. There's always a point when you're like, with anything in life, when you're just, I'm done. Right? You're like, okay, I did this and I'm done with it now. And when that point happens is when it's, next thing.
Mm-hmm. Do you have what's like the next location you're going to go to?
Okay. The next location I don't want to talk about because it's.
No worries.
Should I talk? Okay, I'll say it.
I mean, here's the thing. You could always share stuff and if you don't want it, you could always cut it out.
It's okay. It's okay. I'll say it. But like because I am always have a fear that like someone I know is going to be there.
Interesting.
Because we have a lot of people who have like not normal lives and they can just go anywhere at any time, right?
Yeah.
But my next spot is in Kyrgyzstan.
I don't want to sound I don't think you have to worry about.
That's why I was like, I'll say it. Well, because like if it's Greece, you can just say Greece. Like no one, that's not a spot. That's not like a. But yeah,
I was ready for you to say like San Diego. I was like, watch it be something like down the street. I don't want anyone to see me in San Diego.
Yeah,
yeah.
That's the next location. Van Nuys.
But that's the next spot, and it's like,
okay.
Look it up.
Yeah,
it's beautiful.
Yeah, I'm like, you go to like places that I don't think.
I do try to get off the.
You go to places that not even like travel influencers go to. Like you go to places that I've never even heard of.
Well, like I've never been to Tulum.
You don't need to.
No, I'm just saying, but that's like I don't. Right.
But
like,
again, like that's where like the influencers go. I don't think. I'm pretty sure like anytime I see like an influencer go to like some brand trip, it's always Tulum.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a very, I'm even at this point, I love Mexico, but I'm like, I'm good. I don't think I need to go there.
Do you know where I had a flight, like I had everything set up and then my dad like had some health issues. He's okay now, but like I had to cancel it. It was like, last July, I was actually headed to Russia.
Ooh. There's actually some performers there.
Yeah. It was actually, it was hard to get, you can't make reservations because everything like monetary, like visa, like you cannot, everything's blocked off.
Oh.
Because of sanctions. And
okay.
So like, you have to, getting the visa is not, it's not that it's difficult, but it's expensive.
Okay.
You have to send your passport away.
Oh, I don't like that.
And then the problem with having a Russian visa is that when you go in any country right now and they're flipping and they're like, they see Russia and they just like, it's a whole new set of questions.
Oh God. Okay. I guess that makes sense. But damn.
But yeah, I think Russia is incredible.
Sucks that it's not one of those places we can just be like.
Just go to.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, now.
Yeah.
Eventually.
Wow, that's like way harder than any visa I've heard of. Because even I went to Cuba last year and everyone's like, how the heck did you get into Cuba? And funny enough, though, is like I tried to figure out how to get a visa before getting to the airport. And I was like, well, I guess I'm just going to see what happens. And you came and like do the paperwork and get a visa until you're at the airport that you're taking the flight into the country.
Okay.
And mine was Texas because there wasn't any flights from LA or California going straight to Cuba. It was like layovers are usually in Texas or Florida. So.
Did you like it? I mean, I know you probably already said this, but like, did you?
I liked some parts. It was a little overwhelming.
Overwhelming in what sense? Can you say what sense?
Yeah, I don't think communism's for me. I'll just say that.
No? Tried it? Nah.
Tried it.
Send it back to the kitchen.
Yeah, it was just like, I mean, great people. They're hustlers. I'll give you that. But yeah, just like, you know how a lot of times in Mexico, there's a lot of people walking on the beaches trying to sell you stuff, just try and make a living. That's their lifestyle. And I'm, I see my privilege. I understand the life that I get to live is so different and drastic than these people. So, but yeah, every person, it just felt almost like a bummer and like exhausting because anytime someone would come up to us and engage in conversation, we would start sharing stories. Then eventually it was like they had some ulterior motive.
Yeah.
And I was like, all right, well, I feel like man on Wall Street who thinks like the, escort likes me. Like I'm gonna like, I don't know.
I had so I take my drone everywhere. Well, everywhere that you're allowed to.
Okay.
Which is drones are not. As somebody who loves drones, they probably shouldn't be allowed anywhere. Like, right? But so I took a drone. I was in the Middle East, and which is if you're gonna take a drone, go to the Middle East. And it was up in the air, and a guy who is like kind of, when you're traveling, like there's like some people, like some parts of the world, like it's like, do you work here or not? And it's like they kind of just hang there.
Yeah.
Like I don't know what their deal is. Mm-hmm. But this guy ratted me out, for lack of a better term, right to the security that I had a drone up. All the security comes out. They confiscate my drone. And then the guy that ratted me out was like, do you want me to take some photos of you? And I'm like, what? I was like,
what the heck is this?
I was like, what?
What just happened?
But everybody's got their hustle. And some of these parts of like, everybody's like, they're all.
Yeah. That is so weird.
I think sometimes if you have like a local guide, you don't even need it. You don't even need them as a guide so much as you need them as like a buffer.
Literally.
Right?
I think
just to
like,
keep people.
I kind of wish I had that in Cuba now.
Yeah.
Like I'm starting to realize there are certain countries that I think I'm going to start doing that.
Yeah. It's a good idea.
Yeah. Because I'm also, again, someone who I might be a little bit of a pushover when it comes to like, I don't know, just random stuff.
Well, it's also like, I mean, the bottom line is like, it's easier for me to go rogue with something than a woman. Like, I mean, just it's like safety wise. Like,
yes.
So you're a bigger, it's not even like you're a target, but you have to be
for
like,
sure though.
Yeah.
Well,
you definitely are a target, but like,
yeah. I think, did you have a question? Oh, I thought you were saying something.
I was just going to say, okay, fine. I'll go and be your buffer. Yeah. Go and travel.
I know.
Keep twisting my arm.
I know.
He doesn't know where he's agreeing to though. Like,
I know. I'm like, what do you mean?
I feel like I'm a spooky looking guy. I don't think people will come up to you.
You're like
it's not.
It's
just like, you don't know if you can, there's places you don't even want to be that like aren't, like there's a reason nobody goes there.
Right.
I'm busy that day now.
I know you would have liked Cuba, but at the same time, I think you have also been like, this is hard to say no. And then I even like, there are a few times where I almost got played by like little kids.
Is it because it's the sad story? Is that
I think the kids
that,
would
or just,
get me.
yeah, you can just, they have this desperate energy of just like,
yeah, that would definitely get me. I mean, I have like my work persona where I have to be like really like accommodating. And then the second I don't have to do that, I'm pretty good at just like,
all right.
going forward. But if it's anything involving kids, like anytime we go to Mexico, it's like, oh, well, there went all my money because someone was trying to sell me something. And then
this kid just went and grabbed a bunch of rocks by the shore.
I was like, okay.
And it's like, do you want to buy my magic rocks? And I'm like, you know what? Yeah.
I do.
I'm sold. Did you have one? No.
I mean, I was only thinking whenever he's like, I'll take your picture just so he could like sell you the photo. You know?
Literally.
It was just like, and he couldn't. Some people do something right where they're intentionally making it so you have to use their thing.
Yeah.
That wasn't it. He just turned me in for the drone because you're not allowed to have a drone. But like in his head, he was like, well, but you're taking photos. So would you like me to take the photos as you pay me? I'm like, you're my least favorite person right here.
You're like, actually, babe, I don't want you to.
Right.
I'm going to try to ask at least one of these questions, but
ask questions.
That's why I'm like, I knew though, like you coming on, I was like, oh, we can talk about travel forever. And I actually will, I think I'm going to bring it back to traveling, but, but before that, who are some people that influenced you the most when you were growing up?
Well, it's like, I don't like to talk publicly about my family. Okay. But,
for sure.
But like, definitely, like, I had like an amazing, like I had the family life that was like a 1960s TV show, right? Where you're like, oh, well, that's annoyingly perfect, right? Like the great mom, the great dad, the dog, the sibling, the house with the, like, and it wasn't, we weren't rich. Like my parents were teachers, right? So it wasn't like, but I had everything like a kid would need to like be able to be, I don't want to say successful, but to like go into life with confidence.
Yeah.
And so like, and I mean, my grandparents were all like, everybody lived, it wasn't, I grew up in the Midwest. So like everything, like I remember when I first moved to LA when I was 19. Okay. And then a few years later, I had a friend who had a friend, and he was like, "Where's Ryan from?" And he's like, "'Cause he's not from here." Because like, and it's no shade to like people in California or LA, but like they're just not as nice as Midwest people. Like it's not that they're bad people. Like Midwest people are like overly nice.
Yeah.
You know, like.
I think grew up with different values also. I feel like, I don't know.
So yeah, like, I mean, just my family was awesome. So like.
That makes me happy here. We don't have to talk too much details because I get it. Yeah. There's certain things we want to keep private, like, especially when so much of your life is out there. It's like, there's only so many things we can keep sacred. And that's one that I will always be like that. And like relationships, I'm never going to ask like too many questions because I get it. I totally get it. Well, what was one of your favorite meals as a kid?
Well, the other great thing about being a kid is, you know, like when you're a kid, you don't know what's good food, right?
Yeah.
And which is great because when you're in the Midwest, there isn't good food. Like, my mom would make like fried potatoes. Just like you slice up potatoes, okay, and then you just put them in a skillet, like just fried. Mm-hmm. And like my mom also loves Coca-Cola, so we would have like fried. Like if you saw it, you'd be like, that's terrible for you. You'd be like, yeah, absolutely, it's great.
Yeah, this is the same guy who turned me on to Tender Greens.
Oh, yeah. Actually, I was just shooting in Miami, and I was I was trying to look for healthy things, and there was something called sweet green.
Okay, And
I was eating it, and I was like, this is so good. I said, if they had this in LA or in OC, because I never come up to LA, right? Yeah. And I was like, if they had this in OC, I would eat it all the time. And my two friends that were next to me were like, it started in OC. What are you talking about, right?
Like, so, oh, okay.
But like just like the fried potatoes were good. My mom would also, she didn't make this, like, but this was she, like, I thought she was making it, but like we would have like what's the Pillsbury Doughboy? Yeah, like the Pillsbury Doughboy, like cinnamon rolls.
Cinnamon rolls, yeah.
With bacon, because
whoa,
like not like bacon mixed in, but like you'd have cinnamon rolls and bacon.
Yeah,
and it was just like amazing.
Yeah.
Like, especially as a kid, like
right.
But even as an adult, like also if you take cinnamon rolls and you, like I could be a freak for this. Like maybe this is not good, but I like it. Which is if you just say my mom were to make cinnamon rolls at 7 a.m. and I like put 3 of them on a plate and just like leave it there at like 8 p.m. when like the icing's all like cold and hard and they're cold, like, you know, like they taste so good.
I get down with that.
Do you think that that's like a childhood thing that like it brings you back like memory
if I had
wise?
it now, I wouldn't like it. Okay. Is that what you're asking?
No. I meant like, do you think that you like it because it brings back memories of your childhood of like that's what happened?
You know what is, because my sister she's between the two of us, she's the one who has the good memory. I don't have a good memory. Mm-hmm. So it's hard for me to like remember specific things.
Right.
And weirdly enough, like when I was a kid, one of the last things we would do, like when we had bedtime before like we would go to bed, is like my parents were watching Cheers. Mm-hmm. Okay. And we were allowed, I don't know, like we were allowed or like we did, or like bedtime snack or whatever. Like we would get Pop-Tarts.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. But like a weird one that's like not popular. You can't even find it now, but like just like the cinnamon, like the brown sugar cinnamon with no icing. Mm-hmm. And so when I would smell Pop-Tarts, like as an adult, like I could instantly remember being in the house I grew up in, Cheers being on the time, like everything. So like I would stay away from Pop-Tarts because like I didn't want to ruin that. Like I wanted to be able to smell that and have that come back. Yeah. So like I would specifically not do, you know, like so that I would keep that memory like recollection fresh.
Yeah, there's that makes so much sense. There's a lot of like like food smells to me that like bring me back to like certain points in my life that I can't even naturally go there myself until I smell that food, and then it's like I'm there in the spot.
Yeah.
Your sense of smell is the strongest sense tied to memory. Yeah. So, which is interesting, but it's cool. It's like a little scent time capsule. Yeah. So I get it when you don't want to access it too much. I'm like,
I was at the gym last week and I smelled the girl who I she was wearing the same as the girl who I had I was like my head snapped around like that, right? Because you just smell that person, mm-hmm. you know, you're just like, and everything comes like smell is so, such a strong thing.
It is. That's why I love food though. Food that it plays on so many different senses.
Yeah.
What's your cheat meal?
My cheat meal is absolutely pizza. I love pizza.
Yeah.
Like for somebody who like works out and tries to have abs and all this stuff, like pizza, I always say that like this works for you because you're like, this is a food thing. Yeah. I always say that if I were to die tomorrow, my only regret would be that I didn't eat pizza today.
That's a beautiful thing.
If somebody like if I was like I should have eaten pizza yesterday if I was going to die, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I like all kinds of pizza. Like
okay, that was my next question.
Not all kinds. Like I don't like. There are certain ones I don't like. Like I don't like. No offense to. I don't like anything about Chicago. I don't like the city. I don't like the food. The people are nice enough, but it's cold.
Right.
Fuck the I can say fuck the Cubs.
Fuck the Cubs.
Like when I was a kid, I like the Bulls and Jordan. That was cool. But like, if somebody's like, hey, you want to go to Chicago? I'm like, no. I don't want to go to Chicago.
I've been to Chicago like 7 or 8 times, and I'm like, yeah, I'm with you on that.
There are people who love Chicago. Like there are people who like really like it.
I've had people tell me to go straight up just for some restaurant recommendations, but I'm like, I feel like I travel to other places that have just as good.
Yeah.
like I don't know.
So I don't like their pizza.
Yeah. Okay,
no
that's
Chicago
fair.
pizza, but like any like New York style pizza or you know what? The only pizza that I was like a little. It's interesting when you travel because like as an American, you think pizza and you think like
Italy.
Well, no, but as an American, like if you haven't traveled and you think pizza, you think let's just say like you think like Papa John's or some not that name, but like that type of pizza, right? And then you travel and you order pizza, and you're like, I don't know what that is. And they're like, that's pizza.
And also
like,
they eat it. They eat it with like utensils.
Yeah, you eat it. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I got some looks a few times in Italy anytime I've eaten with my hands because sometimes I'm like,
come on.
guys.
Right. Yeah.
But my favorite style is probably, is it Napoleon? Neapolitan?
I don't know what it.
It's the one where it's like, I don't know, it's just like very thin. And then
well, like, what do you like with pizza? Like, which is
I
it like
love a
more the cheese or is it,
margarita.
no, but like, is it more the sauce or the, like,
it's more like, it's like the bread. It's the amount of bread with the amount of sauce and then what they choose to put on it. Like I've had some really good pizzas that, actually the best pizza I've had.
Okay.
I've been to Italy twice now. Best pizza I had was in Barcelona.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What?
I have the restaurant name. I need to send it to you because it's like, it was phenomenal. But we got like a few different pizzas and they were just all so unique. Like I just remember one of them had like pumpkin and then like some, not chev. Maybe it was like burrata. It was just like so good. And I was just not expecting it to be that good. And then like to this day, I'm like, that might have been the best pizza I've had. Like, I don't know why, who's got the goods in Barcelona, but that restaurant is doing something right.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Yeah. Was it busy?
Yeah. It's definitely one of those places where it's like,
People
you
know.
got to get a reservation way ahead.
Okay. Yeah.
But had good wine, good pizza. But then I just had pizza in Florence. And this one was, I don't know what style it's called. I need to figure it out. But it had prosciutto, burrata, truffle oil, and then just like red sauce.
Okay.
Oh my God. Had that with a Negroni. I was very happy. I was very happy.
What do you guys think about like the new pizza craze of putting like hot honey on pizza? Have you tried that?
I think that can be good, especially with a salty meat like prosciutto.
Mm.
Like if anything, that just sounds like a charcuterie pizza.
Right.
That's kind of what it sounds like.
Yeah.
You said you haven't tried that yet?
I haven't even heard of that.
Yeah, it's just like a spicy honey. And then they put it like
spicy honey. That
they
even
drizzle
sounds
it.
better.
Who's they? Like who's doing this? Like
It's so there's a guy.
is it like a part of the, or is it in LA?
It's in New York. They haven't. The guy didn't invent it. His name is like the most popular brand is like Mike's Hot Honey.
Okay.
That's the one you can like buy at the stores. And he went to I don't remember. He was just like traveling and then to some like Asian country, and then this one shop happened to have spicy honey, and then they put it on food, and he's like, okay, well, I'm gonna steal this and then sell it in America.
Hell yeah.
And then now a whole bunch of other people make it. It's pretty good.
Can I tell you a story that's similar to this?
Yeah.
Not kind of similar. So I was in Turkey. Have you been to Turkey?
I have not. I've worked under a Turkish chef, but I have not been to Turkey.
I went for a nose job.
Oh, nice. I hear, their whole medical system
Yeah, that's
is
the place
like
to
better.
go. Yeah, like that's where you get like hair transplants
All of their
too.
stuff.
Yeah.
But so go to Turkey's beautiful. But so I was in this Airbnb and they had it was almost like a what's it called? Like a bed and breakfast type Airbnb.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Like the
Nice.
owners are on site and they're making you breakfast.
I
And like
love
everywhere
those.
in Turkey, like they'll make you breakfast beforehand. And like it's like, I don't mean like breakfast over there is really big.
Okay.
So like it's not like, oh, here's your,
just
bagel.
some toasted.
Right.
Yeah.
It's like a whole thing.
Wow.
Yeah. So so they were making it and they had this like jam, okay? And it was one of the best things I'd ever had in my entire life. And I was trying to figure out like at this point, I was still big on bringing gifts back for people, right? Like bringing something back. And my brother-in-law and my dad, like older men are hard to shop for because they don't collect shit,
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, well, I'll bring them back this jam because it's the best stuff I've ever tasted in my life.
Mm-hmm.
And I asked them, I was like, before I could even get it out, like before I could even say like, do you sell this? They like already were like, yeah, right. But they had it, they bottled it in like empty Pepsi bottles, like a 20-ounce Pepsi bottle.
Yeah.
And so to me, because of the person I am, I'm like, great, awesome, perfect, right? But my dad is not a big food experimenter. And my brother-in-law is like a clean freak type. Like he's like, I don't know where that's been type person, which is fair.
Yeah.
But like, this is jam. Could not be stickier. Like, so I am wrapping it in like all kinds of stuff. So because it's going to go in my bag, my suitcase, and I'm like afraid it's going to go everywhere.
Yeah.
So I go through this whole process to like bring it back to them. Right. And neither one of them ever even opened it.
Oh. And then I was going to say, it's probably one of those things where you would have had to go find like some fancy glassware and then try to transfer it. But then that would have even been
It was during like COVID. So like everything was closed. So like it wasn't even like you could go shopping.
Yeah.
You know, so yeah.
Well, I am always down to try stuff. If you ever bring some stuff back.
Yeah. No, bring it back. Just go.
I know I should go.
Yeah.
What's the most unusual food you've tried while traveling?
Unusual?
Yeah.
Okay, so this isn't that. I mean, I feel like this is unusual for normal, everyday type thing.
Yeah.
Not necessarily for traveling, right? Because you think like Bourdain's fucking trying.
Okay, to be fair, maybe like 20% of humans that travel, even like we do, eat and like do stuff that he does.
Right.
Like he's inspired that movement, but even now, I don't think anybody I've traveled with or even met while traveling.
Is it that even... Not even in the discussion.
Yeah.
Right.
But
so I was in Milos. Milos?
I want to go.
You know?
Greece. I want to go.
So there's this place, there's a restaurant called Medusa. Yeah. And they catch octopus, right? Mm-hmm. And they have them strung out like laundry, right? And so, I mean, couldn't be fresher. Right. And they had an option where you could either get it grilled or fried. Right. And so I said, well, like, let me try. I was asking them, I was like, well, what's the difference? Because I hadn't ever had octopus. Yeah. I was like, well, what's the difference? And they were telling me, I was like, well, just give me like one of each. Yeah. So they brought out, like one of each. And it was interesting because in my head, I would have thought if somebody would have said, which one am I going to like? I would say, oh, the grilled, right? Yeah. Because I like things on the grill a lot. Like I always gravitate more towards that side of. Yeah. And it was significantly the lesser of my two favorites. But according to the locals there, like people who've lived there forever, like that's the better way to have it. Right. But it was way harder to chew. Yeah. That's where I'm like and it wasn't so much like it was that it's like disgusting so much. It's just literally hard to chew. Yeah. It's as a physical
like
act.
My jaw is
it's firm.
Yeah.
Correct.
I will say I've had anytime I have certain seafood, that's a big thing for me. Is like if it's a little too chewy, I'm kind of like not
into it.
Like there's even fish and stuff out there that people it just seems like it'd be too chewy. Like, I mean, I've never tried it. I probably never will just because it seems inhumane, but like shark fin stuff or like even like swordfish. I think even swordfish is more normal for people to eat, but even that just sounds like a very thick muscle fish.
Yeah.
And
I heard shark fin doesn't even taste good. It's more of like a status thing. Like,
then,
yeah.
Well then fuck that. Like I'm...
Do you know what? Can I give you a personal opinion that's maybe like a hot, speaking of like status thing?
Yeah.
So I did the thing that people do where like sometimes like I did Greece and Italy like together in one trip.
Nice.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
And I was thinking, well, like food in Italy is going to be like, I can't wait. Right.
Yeah.
I think the food in Greece is better than the food in Italy.
I can see that. And I also can see it like being, more fresh, Yeah. And
not that Italy's great.
Italy's great.
But like I think.
But even like I haven't done the southern part of Italy, and that's where I'm really drawn to.
Okay.
I feel like that food will be very similar to like,
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
it seems to make sense. Yeah. Yeah.
because yeah, I'm like, I've done Rome, I've done Tuscany, and
Did you like Florence?
I did. I liked it, but yeah, kind of like, I feel like besides that pizza, any other place we ate was pretty like meh,
Okay.
not like life changing. So I don't know. I feel like the more like, and I mean, I don't really eat a lot of bread as it is, or like pasta. Like I
Okay.
try not to, but of course, when you're in
Yeah.
a country that,
Right.
well, first of all, it's like more organic. It's
Way
grown
it's
there.
not
It's
as-
it's
yeah.
gonna digest a lot better. But even then, it's like having pasta like for more than one dish is like a lot.
Yeah.
And pizza, and they do it right, but yeah, it's just a lot.
Yeah.
You have to like walk a lot to feel okay about eating it.
I did not. So before I went to Milos, every person that advice I was taking on the internet, YouTube or anything was like, you have to rent a car in Milos. You cannot walk it. And I was like, well, I'm going to find out because I'm not renting a car.
Yeah.
So like there are times if like you walk more when you travel.
Yeah, for
You're
sure.
definitely more active.
I feel like in Greece, I see a lot of like ATVs or like motorcycles people rent.
Mhm.
Just because
Yeah.
it's each time you're always on like a little island, and does seem the best way to get around. But I don't know, if I'm like pretty happy with like where my Airbnb or
Okay.
hotel's at, I can be pretty happy just staying there and
Really?
exploring. And then like if I was on an island like that, I mean, we had cars when we were in Mykonos,
Mhm.
but even then I feel like nothing was like that far, but we were traveling with like a lot of people. But
Okay.
I don't know. I'm like, I'd rather get like a motorcycle or just post up or walk. But
Yeah.
yeah. Because also I don't know what's the process of trying to get a rental somewhere. I had one in Okinawa.
It's all over the place, right? Like everything's different.
Yeah.
I had a rental in Germany,
Oh,
in
okay.
Berlin.
Yeah.
And I was filming something there. And one of the locations I was filming at was in the middle of nowhere. Okay.
Oh.
And I returned this car and it was not in ideal shape. On the inside. Outside it was fine.
Okay.
Okay. And so then fast forward, I don't know, 8-10 months later, I didn't get any notice from them. I was expecting it, right?
Right.
I was expecting what the hell? What did you do? Because it's in
Yeah.
Berlin. It's not like I was out in the country.
No.
So it was like, what did you do? Right. And I didn't get anything like that.
Okay.
And then 8 months later, I go back to Berlin. I used the same rental car place because I didn't have any trouble with them, right? And I have the reservation. I'm at the counter in the airport, and the guy's like going to check me in. He's all being all nice at first. And then he's like, that's weird. I'm like, is there a problem? He goes, it won't let me rent you a car.
Oh my God.
And he was, but he didn't know. It didn't say, he's like, it doesn't say why. He goes, I'm so sorry. And in my head, I'm like, I know why.
Yeah. You're like, you're fine.
Yeah, I'm like, don't worry.
Oh, this poor guy. He's probably like,
He's probably like, this. I've never seen this.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, well, you should have seen the car I returned. Yeah, you know.
Ooh,
I mean, I've heard of like a no-fly list, but I've never heard of like a no car
rental
list. Yeah.
list.
Yeah. So I went to another. I just went across the way, got a new rental car. But
Damn.
yeah,
Travel tips, guys.
Yeah. Make sure you're okay.
Yeah.
Make sure you're cleared.
What is something you've learned about yourself from traveling so much? I know it's a lot.
I think you know what is, I think that it's kind of like, you know how anybody who's knows how people in the mind work and everything, you know, you can't like run from your problems. Like you hear that when you're a child, right? Like you can't run from your problems. If you have a problem here and you decide you're going to go to Mexico, the problem's still going to be there.
Right.
So one thing I've learned is that like traveling, I think traveling is incredibly overrated.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's like if somebody says to me, you're so lucky. You get to go here and there. And like, you know, you get to see the world. And like, that's so cool. It's like, it's cool, but it's not any cooler than having a wife or kids or a job that like you're happy at in a city or town you like living in, and you don't go anywhere. As long as like, I just think traveling is romanticized a lot. And I think I don't think it's all that it's made out to be.
I definitely agree. And yeah, I've been really reflecting on that the last like 2 years of travel.
Yeah.
Is like realizing it's really easy to fall in love with escapism, and that's like not necessarily a healthy habit.
Right.
And yeah, just trying to feel at home within yourself rather than try to seek something out. Because it's like, I feel like traveling's right up there with almost like any other thing we find thrill seeking, like sexual relations or, you know, skydiving or having these hobbies that make us almost feel like we're outside of ourselves.
Yeah.
Because I feel like I noticed that a lot is like traveling feeds into my like flighty energy, which is like, is that where it's like, okay, I'm not happy with where I'm at. I feel like I just need to like go or like make an irrational decision real quick. And the safe route for me is like to go to a different country versus like go fuck an ex that I haven't talked to in like years, or, you know, do something like toxic. So it's like, I don't know, but I do feel the same way. It is a little overrated in that sense. And I mean, I always will bring up Tony Bourdain. Like, we all saw that life he lived as something so iconic, and we were all so drawn to it. And he made traveling he gave it a different definition than what it was. But he still, you know, unalived himself.
If somebody said to me, so I spent 3 weeks in Greece and Italy going to the most beautiful spots, right? I mean, you're talking like Milos, which is beautiful in a way. You're talking like Ia, which is the like, and then you're in Rome, which is the best city in the world, and you're in Cinque Terre, like, and you're in Positano, and you're in like the most, you're doing the most beautiful things, right? 3 weeks. And like literally, like if somebody was like when I think about that trip, just as an example, like my favorite like memory is like I was FaceTiming like with my girl and her daughter, right? As I was at dinner, because I had planned the trip like a long time ago, and like that's my favorite memory is FaceTiming with her, and her daughter was doing some gymnastics, like, you know, right in the background, she's like doing some shit, and like that's like when I think of like Athens, like that's what I think of, right? Like I don't think of any of the other, like, you know, like I remember like taking a photo to send to her at like the Temple of Zeus, right? And her reaction, the Temple of Zeus is stupid. Like I'm saying, like it's just as stupid. Like you're walking around Greece and you're like, oh, this is what the United States will be like in 300 years. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like you're like, this is just things collapse, you know, that are beautiful. And all these places like it's your best memories are with people. Yeah. And like sometimes when you say like things you learn is like, you don't know that if you don't travel. Right. And like I remember having a conversation with, do you know who Chris Santos is? You for sure know Chris Santos.
It sounds very
He was
familiar.
in Chopped, like Chef Chopped.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
He like had his dream come true, right? Like opened up, what's that restaurant that he has that's super like popular, and like there's one in Vegas, there's one here, there's one in New York, Beauty and Essex.
Oh yeah.
Okay. And we had a really deep, quiet conversation one night about like dreams coming true, right?
Mhm.
Like, good luck with that.
Yeah.
You know, because, and travel is the same monster where like, you think like, God, these kids are driving me crazy. If I could just be on a beach in Italy, things would be like, not that you don't want to get rid of the kids, but like, you'd be like, you'd have some, what you need. Right. And it's like, you wouldn't.
No.
Because you would just
and then you'd be missing them.
You'd be missing, like, so it's not the answer.
No.
But you don't know that if like, I'm fortunate like to know like, yeah, I know that because I've done it,
Mhm.
experienced it, you know?
Yeah.
So.
No, it's important to understand that, yeah, you can't, that we're always just, I don't know, it's like,
it's cool to be able, like, it's cool to be able to have like travel influencers and people who it's like, I love as much as anybody to sit in a place right in front of your computer and you're watching this beautiful place in Africa and you're like, you just sit, you get lost in it. Right. But like, so people who do that, who provide that, like, I think that's fantastic.
Mhm.
But you can experience Italy without being in Italy.
For sure.
You know,
Just
you don't
go to Temecula.
I'm
kidding.
Yeah, but you don't have to like.
No, I mean,
you know,
I just took, I mean, you saw that I was just in Europe. I planned this like trip for my mom in her birthday.
Mhm.
And I feel like that was what kind of reminded me of, that it's not even just necessarily what that traveling is this great thing that I'm always chasing, but to get to give someone else that experience and also share that experience with someone. Like, that was her first time in Europe.
Yeah.
And the amount of times she was just like, wow, this is so beautiful. And like, and same thing, I think it would have been different if I just gave her a ticket and was like, okay, have fun. Like, she probably would have been like, all right, well, this is cool. But I think, and that's why she even told me, she like got teary-eyed the other day because people were asking her about the trip. And she was like, it was mostly just the fact I got to have alone time with my oldest daughter. And she's like, all the conversations we had over dinner, like not necessarily at the Coliseum or you know, at these places. She was more just like, I loved that I just got to like share all these meals with you.
Yeah. That's awesome.
So I'm like, I've done so much solo traveling too. So I'm like, what am I running away from? So.
I mean, sometimes you are, sometimes you're not though.
Yeah.
Right. But I remember I was in Kenya and I had done all this amazing stuff, right? Like, I filmed all this amazing footage and done all this. And I'm sitting in the field like by myself and I'm staying on this conservation and there's like a family. So the person who like, I would go riding every day with a guy who like did the horse riding tours, and him and I would just like go out because I was just by myself. Right. So we would just go riding every day. And then like, kind of like around sunset. So in the afternoon is when the families and everybody's like that is there. And I was just sitting there and I was looking way out across the field. And there was like this family, like mom, dad, kid, another kid, like super little. And they were just like going and turning around to get a picture because there's a giraffe behind them, right? And they're getting a picture that's like, all these photos I take are like epic.
Right.
Okay. Like, they're really amazing. Okay. Who fucking cares? Right. But like you're gonna see that photo and be like, yeah, that's incredible. That's awesome. But like the photo, like if you're dying, you're not gonna be like, hey, show me that awesome photo of me in Kenya.
Yeah.
You know? You're gonna like, show me the photo with my mom, show me the photo with my wife, show me the photo, you know? And that's gonna be some random photo. Like, this guy was just taking a photo of them, the four of them.
Right.
And I was like, like that's the best thing. That's all that matters, you know? Like you said with your mom, like, that's what matters. Like, she'll love it, you know? Like, that's super important.
Yeah. No,
that's good traveling.
Yeah, it is good traveling. And like, that's kind of my favorite thing now. It's just like giving someone else just as much of an experience to come share it.
Some people don't want to do it,
So I guess I'll bring Chris at some point. But I'll probably make him
Chris,
work.
Come on, let's go. Where would you want to go, Chris?
I mean, my dream vacation is Japan.
Okay.
We've talked about this like a couple times. I was supposed to go for my 30th birthday, which just so happened to be in the middle of COVID, and Japan was like the country that was closed the longest. And then the time passed, and I'm so busy with work, it's hard for me to justify taking time off because you want to go for like a month. Like Japan, there's so much to see, and if I don't get to travel as often, I want to go. I'm trying to. I mean, this is not a hard thing to convince Lumi of, but you know, I want to like take the show on the road and be like, oh, we can like, you know, go to this area and film the podcast, and we'll call it like a work vacation where we film for a day. Yeah, a film for a day or two, and then go off and explore the wherever we're at.
Yeah, we can do that.
Yeah. Okay, good. We have that on tape.
Do you have a place, Ash?
I don't know. I mean, I definitely want to go to Greece though, because I have seen like some pictures. I have a friend that's from there. But yeah, I've never been. Tokyo would be sick. I want to perform comedy out there actually. They have a spot that's like, they have roast battles out there. Actually, I swear to God. Yeah, and it's all done in English, surprisingly.
Nice. Perfect.
So I'll get booked out there and then we'll shoot out there.
There you go. We'll make it a whole thing.
Yeah. I think we've talked about it too, like some of like the realistic trips for the time being is like Austin and New York.
That's not hard.
Yeah. You guys say it like that. Let's go to Austin.
Yeah.
Well, because it's like there's such a big like comedy scene
there's guests. If we really are doing a work vacation, we have to get guests, and where the guests are is LA, Austin, and New York.
Yeah.
So it's got to be. It's got for that.
I was actually thinking. I like Sam Morril. I think he's funny.
Oh, he's like one of my favorites right now.
And I was watching. I was like, maybe I'll go see Sam Morril in person. Like maybe I'll go see a show, right? So I get on his website. I'm like looking at like his tour schedule. I'm thinking like how fucking hilarious this is, right? Because the way his schedule lined up, and I'm paraphrasing basically, right? But it was like Rome, Portugal, like it was like all these amazing cities. Then it was like Pittsburgh, like but it's just like, you know, just like to go from like, oh, you're playing, you know, in Rome to like now you're in some small city in West Virginia, you know.
That's how it goes.
That's how it is. Like that's how it is. Yeah, comedy. You're everywhere. The good and the small but sometimes sometimes the small venues like get it more. Yeah. Probably.
I think comedy is best seen in a small venue. It's a lot more intimate.
Totally.
But you want like when you're like, you know, when one of your favorite comics finally makes it big, you want him to do the theater so you can like those 10 years where he was losing money. Yeah. Now he gets to make his money back. But I really do think comedy is best in a small room.
Yeah, it's like hard for me to pay attention when it's in a stadium because I mean, I had free tickets because Carter Cruz, she was opening for Bert Kreischer, and she invited me to the Vegas show, and I was like, this is like too much. This is like a whole stadium. And he's down there, and she's down there.
It's
and
very,
I don't know. I was just like, this is like a lot, and I already hate Vegas, and so I was just like, well, I support, but I was just like, I don't need to do this again.
It's nice to support, show up. I knew Carter when she was like a baby Carter. Yeah, like, oh my God, babe, she was so young. We were at the airport together in Vegas.
Yeah,
she was like, this is all bullshit. I'm like, what? She's like, TSA, it's all fake. I was like, I like you.
Yeah, I like you. She's dope. She's so funny. She's a fun one. She's so funny. Her humor and her, I don't know, just dryness and bluntness. I will always.
Oh yeah, Carter. You never love. What do you think?
I'll tell you what I think. Do we have any producer questions for Mr. Ryan?
We got time for one.
Okay.
We were gonna ask this on the main episode, and I want to just make sure we get back to it. I'm just curious, where do you feel the most at home as someone who travels a lot?
That's a sweet question.
I had a girl that I loved very much, and when she didn't live here, she lived on the East Coast. And when I was with her, I felt like I was home. Nowhere else. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Definitely not in I don't feel home
physically.
You know what? Like I do like OC.
Yeah.
I do like OC. Mm-hmm.
I think I was born in California. I think California a lot of times gets a bad rap. There is really nice places, but it's mostly LA that sucks.
I will say, like, I moved to California when I was 19 in 2001. So like I've been here like a long time. I've been here more than any other place. But I think California, and I don't say this like in any, but like I think it used to be better than it is now.
Yeah.
Like I think, and it's hard because sometimes you're like older and you're jaded. You know, like maybe it's not better. Maybe you think it was better because like that was.
I don't know. I'm born and raised here, and I don't know. I think it's better now.
I think I know that I didn't realize that I kind of like am part of the negative stereotype, and because I lived in North Carolina for like almost 4 years.
Okay,
and I lived in a small town called Asheville, and everyone there was so nice, and I'm so used to. I'm used to just in LA when people come up to you, they want something. So I was like, can we rap? Like get to the point of like what you're asking me for. And in grocery stores, people would just stop me and just to have a conversation. And I would just have my face on like, what do you want? And my roommate would have to be like, what are you doing, dude? Like they're just trying to talk to you and have a normal conversation.
Aww.
And you look like you're about to fight someone. So I was like, oh, I'm the problem.
Yeah.
Like I didn't realize that, I'm so like, I became so jaded living here that I was like, it
happens.
I'm the asshole. I didn't realize.
Do I get to ask a question? Okay, cool. I know that your designing for your clothing kind of started with specific elements for places you wanted to take a picture at.
Right.
And I know you kind of said, how do I make this maybe more, I guess, consumable, more mainstream for other people? Do you think you would draw influences from like cultures, or would you start designing for maybe specific events? So instead of a specific place.
Well, so I actually originally started, I'll try to keep this short, but like there was a little girl who had cancer. Okay. And so they were doing like a rock concert to honor, like not to honor, but like to raise money.
Yeah.
And so I was like, everybody's trying to figure out like what they can do. And I was like, I'll design a t-shirt, which is like, that's more like graphic design than clothing design, right? Like it's a different thing. But I was like, okay, so I'll do that. And I did it and it sold out like it was like, it's already sold, like the event hasn't even started yet. It was like sold out. And so you're like, oh, maybe I'm good at this. Maybe I'm good at like stuff like that. So like then I started designing stuff for like years later, I put it on ice. And then like years later, I started designing stuff for athletes. Okay. And that was a nightmare with the exception of like a couple people. It's just, but like there's one person that I got to design for, like I got to like design for like my hero, like your Bourdain, like my Bourdain, like I got to like just like, which was like a lot of fun. Very cool person. It's cool like when people say don't meet your heroes or don't meet your idols.
Right.
Which is usually true, but like sometimes they're actually cool.
Yeah.
Like my guy turned out to be cool.
I feel like people say that because they're like, oh, you're going to realize they're just a person. And I'm like, I want that though.
Well, yeah,
I want to connect with this person.
But sometimes sometimes it's like they're an asshole. Right. Yeah, exactly.
But I feel like most of the time people are like, you're going to lose the rose colored glasses. And it's like,
which is good.
That's
like,
fine.
That's what I want.
Yeah.
Yeah. But so then like I finally like, doing the travel clothing was like kind of like me finally doing something of like for me of like, you know, so I think at this point, anything's a possibility, but like I haven't even really launched mine yet. So like when I figure out, like when I condense it into like these pieces I'm going to sell to people, like I would do that. And then after that, if I still like want to continue that, then maybe, you know, but like I'm decently busy. And I think one of the important things in being successful is knowing when to say like no.
Right.
Like, you know, when to like not take on. Because a lot of like we're just by nature be like, yeah, sure, I'll do that. Oh, do you have a thing? Yeah, I'll do that. I can. It's like you're spreading yourself way too thin.
Yeah.
You know?
For sure.
And you're gonna fail because you need to lock in on a couple things, get those done, and then move on.
Right.
Something else.
That's fair.
I say that as somebody who's like I say, like I'm successful.
I feel like, I don't know. We all have our own definitions of success.
Yeah. I'm terrible at business. So like a big venture like that. No, like I'm not good at it. Right. That's if you were to have a successful clothing line, you're more likely to be you're better off to be good at business than clothing.
Right.
You know?
I could see that.
So anybody can have a good idea.
I think that's like an important thing to admit is that if you're not good at business, like one of the things that like one of my mentors that basically taught me everything about production and really helped me out is when he admitted that he wasn't a good boss and needed his own boss. Is like, I think I'm also like, now that I'm doing my own things, like I should probably have my own boss.
Yeah.
And then just hire someone to be like, hey, make sure to do this thing.
Yeah. Know what you're good at.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just want to be creative. Let me be creative and then have someone remind me to like pay this person. Yeah.
I like that. I get that.
Yeah.
So where can the fans find you?
Twitter is Ryan McLane. MCLANE. I changed. So my thing is like State of Ryan. So like I changed my Twitter to State of Ryan. And sometimes I will go to find myself. I'll type because okay, so I have like little kiddos that like I want to show them funny things on Twitter. So like I will anytime I see something funny with like a pet or a thing, I'll DM myself. I DM myself more than anyone so that then I can pull it up for them.
Right.
And I'll go to type in like State of Ryan. And I'm like, that's not you. You're Ryan McLane.
Okay.
It doesn't come up. It's just your thing says State of Ryan.
There you go.
I will say you were the hardest guest to find, but we found you. Yeah. So I'll make sure in the description we got all your social media.
Yeah.
I really don't like social. If I did not.
Oh, I don't like it either.
Oh, I would. Yeah, I don't like it. I also don't post like I'm known for, and I don't post.
Right.
So like that's like it's like what are you doing?
And you guys know where to go for that.
Exactly.
Yeah. And I'm Lumi Ray. You guys know that. Otherwise, you wouldn't be watching this. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah.